Hi, everyone. Welcome. See some people joining us. All right. Well, it's about that time to get started. Do we have a few more waiting, Mrs. York? Okay. All right. Well, welcome to our parent orientation for kindergarten. I'm Miss Teft, or Katie Teft, the reading teacher, and we're just going to introduce ourselves really quick as the kindergarten reading, writing, and math teachers, and then we will share a little bit of information with you about kindergarten and just some things that might be helpful for you to know. So, like I said, I teach reading, and this is my second year at Cole Valley. I moved from Oregon summer of 2019. And before that, I lived in the Portland area and taught kindergarten and pre-K. This is my ninth year teaching. And I also have a background in public library service. So teaching reading is very fun. I love children's books and getting to help your children find books that they love. So go ahead, Mrs. York.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jamie York, and I am the math teacher. And this is my family's third year here, my second year teaching. And I'm just so thankful to be here at Cole Valley. I have two kiddos here. I have a second grader, Hannah, and I have a sixth grader, Josiah. And yeah, that's just a little bit about me. All right, Mrs. Boyette.
Sorry, I was clicking the wrong unmute button. I'm Kelly Boyette, and I'm a Midwestern girl who moved to Idaho 5 years ago. And this is my sixth year at Cole Valley. I have taught for 14 years. So I'm in my 15th year of teaching this year. And I'm super excited to be back in the classroom with real kids looking at me, not virtually through the screen. It makes a huge difference. So I'm thankful for that. And I wanted to kind of start off by just assuring you that we are aware of all the precautions that we need to take. We're taking special measures in hand washing, and we've spaced our desks. I know you guys haven't been able to be in the classroom, which is so different. But we have reworked our classroom so that we're not working in table settings like we usually do in groups of 5 looking at each other. Now they're spaced out more. We are doing lots of hand washing throughout the day, both with hand sanitizer, soap and water, and sometimes just wipes because the hand sanitizer tears their little hands up if we do that constantly. So we're trying to do a mix of all of those things. Those of you who have communicated with us that you want your child wearing a mask, they are doing a great job wearing their masks. And so if you have any concerns about your child's mask or not wearing a mask, just communicate that with your homeroom child so we can be sure that we're partnering with you to be sure that your desires are being met during the class as far as their mask and things like that go. But they have just been super fun to work with so far, and we're working really hard during this crazy time to be sure that they just have an authentic kindergarten experience, that they're feeling connected to us as their teachers, even though we have shields on our faces. That is the mode that we use mostly, is the shield. You'll see us, and that's because it's so important at their age to be able to see our faces so that they understand our emotions, what we're trying to communicate with them, as well as just seeing our mouth and how it moves and how that forms sounds. That's so foundational for them at this level. So you'll see us a lot in our shields. We do wear a mask throughout the day when that's appropriate too. But anyway, we are doing our best to give them a great kindergarten experience, allow them to learn how to interact with their peers, all while maintaining safety precautions during this time. So having that said, and having the whole Corona COVID thing kind of out of the way, I wanted to take care of some housekeeping things that we have for kindergarten. We have a schedule that we are working. We've moved our lunch up a little bit compared to other years, and we're still working with that to see if it's going to work for us or not. But we do have a snack every day, so it would be very helpful if you at the least communicate with your child what you want them to eat for a snack, if you care about it. If you don't care and you just, whatever they eat in their lunchbox is fine with you, that's fine. But communicate with your student to say, I want you to eat your cheese stick today, or eat your applesauce and your yogurt today, whatever it is that you have for them to eat for snack. And if you have the bandwidth to do it, even just to put their snack in a separate Ziploc bag so they know to grab that snack out, that's also helpful. We also sometimes even let them eat their leftovers from their lunch at the end of the day. Since our lunch was a little earlier today, they were hungry closer to the end of the day. So if they have extra food, we also let them do that. Along with lunch, let us know if maybe your child is not eating all that you would like them to eat in their lunch. It's every family is different. Every child's eating habit is differently. Maybe your child eats like a bird and you throw everything in their lunch hoping that they'll eat something, but you know that they won't eat it all. We don't, as teachers, want to say, you need to stay there until you eat it all. Not that we would do that, but you understand what I mean. We want to be sure that your child's eating what you would like them to eat. So if you have any concerns when you see their lunch boxes coming home, maybe they're not eating their vegetables, maybe you're noticing all this food left over, just let us know so that we can address that with them during lunch. Because we're here every day while they eat lunch, we eat lunch with them in the classroom. So just let us know about their lunches. We're going to move on to talking about some dress code. Dress code's pretty simple for kindergarten. Dress code is in the parent handbook that you should have received digitally. If you did not receive a digital handbook, you can contact the office and they'll get that for you. But the main concern for kindergarten is shoes with straps on the back, because they run around at recess time. And if they have flip-flops on, first of all, the bark that we have on the playground gets in their shoes. And if not the bark, then it's just easier for them to slip. So shoes with some sort of a back on them, even if it's just a strap, works best for kindergartners. Moving on to birthdays, we have several birthdays coming up already in August, and then even in September quickly approaching. So your homeroom teacher will communicate with you how birthdays will be celebrated in your homeroom. Your child will celebrate their birthday on the closest day to their actual birthday, on one of our core days. Our core days are Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. Those are the days that all kindergartners are here, and those are the days that most likely will celebrate your child's birthday. For birthday parties, if you would like to invite the entire homeroom class, all 20 kids, then we would be happy to pass out invitations for you in the classroom. But if you're just having a small gathering with just a few kids, then please just take care of that separately. You can access fellow students' emails and addresses in the family portal. There's a family directory on the Pole Valley website. You can go to family portal, family directory, and anyone who wants their addresses and phone numbers published, whoever doesn't mind that, then you can find those in there. And we'll also be sending home class lists so that you'll know all the kids' names, all the other kids that are in your students' class. That'll be coming home. So birthday invitations for a whole class, or just take care of that on your own. The pickup line is much different, even for parents who've been here for a while. Because of COVID, everyone comes to the parking lot. It's getting a little bit faster every day. And once we recognize cars, it's going to start going faster, we promise. But in the event that it rains, or there's some sort of inclement weather that prevents us from picking up or dropping off outside, there will be signs posted in the parking lot so that when you pull into the parking lot, you know, oh, it's indoor pickup. And in the event that it is an indoor pickup, you will park your car and kindergartners will be in the fireside room. That's different this year. Kindergartners through third grade will be in the fireside room. Fourth grade through sixth grade will be in the gymnasium. And there will be people to direct you on which door you will enter into the fireside room. So again, inclement weather, there will be signs posted that will say indoor pickup or indoor drop off. and then you will take your child to or pick them up at the fireside room. In kindergarten, we traditionally have field trips. The bus is always the highlight of the field trip, riding the bus. So as soon as restrictions are lifted, we hope to have some field trips. We normally have a pumpkin patch field trip in the fall. However, that looks like it's probably not going to happen because of COVID, but we hope to have other ones perhaps in the spring, so that the kindergartners can at least ride a bus, because that's what they really, really enjoy. And speaking of the bus, if you could do us a huge favor, we have just a handful of bus riders. If you could talk over with your child, those that do not ride the bus, which is the majority, please tell them that they don't ride the bus. We had several kids today, as soon as they hear the bus, they say, I ride the bus, because they think it means I want to ride the bus. So get me on that bus. So please just talk with your child and say, remember, I will pick you up today. You're not going to ride the bus. 2 years ago, we had a little child who did. She took her opportunity. She wanted to get on that bus so badly, and she was wily enough to know that she had a substitute teacher. And she told that substitute teacher she rode the bus. And the substitute teacher, unfortunately, did not know. She put her on the bus, and that little girl's grandpa came looking for her at the end of the day, and she was on the bus headed to the high school. So just let your child know that they will not ride the bus unless you tell them that. And then also, volunteers in the classroom are also on hold right now due to COVID. And as soon as those restrictions are lifted, we will communicate with you. We love to have parents involved in the classroom. You will just coordinate through your homeroom teacher, and we'll get you in the classroom as soon as those restrictions are lifted. We have a background check system through a system called Raptor that you simply feed your driver's license through a little machine. It does a pretty instant background check, and then you'll be cleared and be able to come in and work. So we'll let you know when those restrictions are lifted. I think that's all for me. Am I right, Mrs. York and Ms. Taft? If you have any questions about those little housekeeping things, just throw it in the chat and we'll answer them as we go. Thanks.
All right. Well, I'm going to talk a little bit about homework in kindergarten. So you might be wondering, is there homework, or does my child have homework they need to do? Well, as the reading teacher, the primary homework we have is to read. So starting in September, you will see a reading folder come home. And this is just a way for me to see what your child's reading at home and to send home appropriate books at their levels. So here's the reading folder. It's a gray folder that has a little Velcro flap like this. And inside, there are a few different components. The first is the reading log, and that's the most important one. That needs to stay in the reading folder. And it looks like this, and it says read every day. It'll have your child's name at the top. And the first page of this reading log has a little letter from me that just basically explains our program. So you can read through that on your own time. But the most important thing to remember from this is that there are 2 pages for each month of the reading log. There's a parent page and a child page. The goal each month is to read 20 books. So we're not tracking minutes or pages. We're just tracking that your child is getting either read to or is starting to read books on their own. Because in kindergarten, the most important thing is that they develop a love of reading. So the parent page is just a list. It looks like this. So for every book that you either read to your child, with your child, or eventually your child reads to you, you can write the name of the book and just initial that you know your child read that book, that you heard them or read it to them, something like that. For September, the books on this list really should be interesting books, just books that you read with your child, maybe a Bible story or a picture book, or a book that a sibling reads to them, because my goal for September is to get to know your child and your family and just to figure out what you like to read. So I just want to know what your child's interests are and things like that. So the first book that your child will bring home will be called an interesting book. So it will probably be a book that your child needs you to read to them. or your child might know some of the words in the book and can start reading it to you as well. Because kindergartners are reading at all different levels, and that's okay. And so we just want to write down what they like. I just want to know what books you read at home together, things like that. And then your child gets to read or gets to color one picture for every book they read. So this is your child's page. So for September, your child just needs to color one apple every time they read a book. Now, the goal is 20 for the month. And of course, some families might read way more than 20, but 20 breaks down to just one book a day for the 5 days of the school week. So once you reach 20, you don't need to write down any more. But that at the end of the month, we'll just celebrate it in class. I have a little prize for each of them when they finish the month. So, and then we'll start over with 20 more books the next month. And starting in October, you will see leveled readers come home. And that's books that are at your child's level where I've assessed them and where they are, and a book that is just right. We call it a good fit book. And so after parent-teacher conferences in October, you will see good fit books come home, or leveled readers. So that's the important thing about the reading log. Now in the reading folder, there's some resources which you don't have to keep in the reading folder, but you can. The first one is a set of flashcards. These are the red words or sight words that we learn in kindergarten. There's 30 of them. Now, if your child already knows these 30 words, of course we go above and beyond the 30, but these are the ones that we really want your child to master reading by the end of the year. And then there's also a sign language alphabet. This is a tool that we use in class to help us read and write. And it looks like this. It's a chart. There's a little song that goes with it. And we will actually start learning that tomorrow, actually. I sang it for the class today. So that by the end of kindergarten, your child will probably be able to sing that to you a million times in their sleep. So we will do it all the time. And the sign language alphabet's just a great tool because it makes our language visible. It's a visual language. So it's just another tool to help connect that reading and writing piece. So these are resources you can keep at home to help you with reading. And then the first page of that reading log, like I said, has a little letter from me, but on the back, it says additional information, and there's a list of apps and websites that you can use. Some of them are free, some of them are free with limited use, and some of them have a free trial but require a subscription eventually. So you're welcome to check those out. There's also information on book orders if you're interested in purchasing books for your home library or maybe as a Christmas gift or birthday gift. There's information for how to buy through Scholastic, which just gives back to the school points for new books. And then lastly, there's a note about previewing all materials. So I highly encourage you to always preview books, websites, and apps before letting your child explore, just because books sometimes look really fun and exciting on the cover, and then you open it up and there's something in it that just might not align with your family's values and beliefs. So after working in public library service for about 12 years, I just know that there's a lot of materials out there that should be previewed first. So I just encourage that. And if you have any questions at all about reading or about books or any book recommendations or anything like that, feel free to email me and I will help you navigate that with your child. And then, of course, another piece of homework you might see come home occasionally is a handwriting practice page from Mrs. Boyette. And these are just pages to just reinforce handwriting practice that you can work on at your own pace, at your own time, just for extra practice. So you might see that in their communication folder. And the communication folder is that folder that comes home every Friday. So we sent it home on the first day of school, which was last Wednesday, but you will see it again this coming Friday. And inside you will see all the papers from the week that your child has completed. Rather than sending home papers every day, we just collect them and put them in the folder. And then you can look through them with your child at the end of the week. You will also see anything that comes from the office as well as the kindergarten newsletter. We call that the WAG, and that will be in your child's communication folder. And that's also a great place if you have like little quick notes that when you return it on Tuesday, you can just stick any papers that need to be turned in, things like that. Just put them back in the folder and we'll take them out. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about attendance. So if your child is gone, whether it's for sickness, not feeling well, maybe they have an appointment of some sort, or you're going out of town to visit relatives, whatever the reason, the best way to report your attendance is to email. The office has an attendance email. We will put it in the chat, but it is attendance.elem, short for elementary, just the LM part, ELEM, at cvcsonline.org. And the best thing to do is to also email or copy your child's homeroom teacher. So if you email the attendance email address and copy your child's homeroom teacher, that's the best way to communicate an absence. That way, the office has it recorded right away in our fax system that your child is gone, but then your child's homeroom teacher also knows as well. And the office won't be calling to find out why you're not there or what your absence is for. So that's the best thing to do. And if your child is just going to be late one day, you can also just email your child's homeroom teacher about that. And also the drop-off for a late arrival is a little bit different. So our normal drop-off time is between 8 and 8:20 in the morning. So if you arrive at school after 8:20, you will need to go to the front office, which is the front of the church building. And there should be a phone number listed. The information we were given was that you can call the phone number to let the office know that you've arrived. And you can either send your child in, although at kindergarten, I think either one of the office ladies would come in to get your child or would allow you to walk them to just the office and they'll take them to class. So the protocol due to COVID is just a little bit different for a late arrival or for an early pickup. It's kind of the same procedure. If you're going to pick up your child early before the normal carpool time, you would need to call the office, let them know, and they would come get your child from our classroom. So they're just trying to limit the traffic in and out of the office. And the other thing is that, after 8:30, yes, it's after 8:30 if you arrive. After 8:30, you go through the office. So I think I said 8:20 earlier. And the last thing would be if you're going to be gone for an extended period of time, which would be longer than 3 days, Mrs. York is going to talk a little bit more about that procedure because it's a little bit different. So did I miss anything? All right, Mrs. York, go ahead.
All right, friends. Okay, so just to kind of stop for a second, if you guys have any questions, we have the chat up on the side. If you're not sure how to use the chat, it should be at the bottom of your Zoom screen. If you just click on that, you'll be able to see that. And so feel free to post questions and we'll answer them as we keep on going. So I'm going to talk a little bit about Teams, and all Teams is basically our platform that we used in the spring for remote learning. We're also going to use this as a resource just to communicate with you any campus news, any classroom news. So I'm just going to share my screen and just kind of walk you guys through that. This is also, so Ms. Teff mentioned if students are gone more than 3 days for an extended absence due to illness, we will most likely be using Teams as a resource and a way to get those assignments to students. We also have what we call a remote learning advocate. And if your student needs to be out for an extended period of time, she'll be in contact with you and she'll just talk with you to see what best works for your family. If a packet of worksheets works best for you, then that's what we'll get you. If you can do remote assignments, then she'll walk you through how to do that as well. But I'm just going to give you a brief overview of what our Teams looks like. This is a Microsoft-based platform. So let me go ahead and I'm going to share my screen and we're going to just look through that together. Give me just a second here. All right. So this is what I logged in. I've added my own second grader to our kindergarten team so I could show you what it would look like if you logged in as your student. So what you will need to do, you will have, in order to see what your students' teams, what these are available to them, you have to log in to each student. So this is what it would look like if you logged in as your kindergarten student. And all you will do is go to office.com, and then you will have, it'll give you the option to sign in. And this is what would come up when you do that. Then you would just go to choose our teams, choose the Teams app. This is also a really nice thing if we end up using this on a regular basis, and even it's a great resource to get campus news, and I'll show you the resources we're going to put on there. I have the app on my phone, and if you have more than one student, the app on your phone makes it really easy to toggle from one student to the next. A lot of times when you log in as a student, if you log in as one of your students on your desktop and then try to log in to another student, sometimes it just gets confused and it will remember the last student. It'll keep bouncing back to that. So anyway, just so you know, the app works really well, the Teams app. So if you log in on your desktop, you go to office.com, this is what you would see. You would see our kindergarten hub and then the 3 content teams. Now, most likely we won't be using these this year unless your student needs to be out for an extended period of time. And I'll go over those in just a minute. But let me go over the kindergarten hub because we will be using this year, and just go through the things that you would see there. So we have one quick thing. You'll see these 1 through 6. One thing I want to mention is sometimes Teams just chooses to hide some of the channels, and you just go to unhide. Go to hidden channel and click on it. So just so you can see that, let me just walk through each one of these. The first one is our week at a glance. This is, if you have other students in the past, this is what you would receive every Friday from their homeroom teacher, or from one of their grade level teachers. So this year, we're going to keep sending those out at least through September, as far as I know. But eventually we will transition to posting them here. And the nice thing about this is if you think, oh, I think there's an event coming up in kindergarten, or what was that they wrote in the week at a glance, we refer to them as WAG, week at a glance, that's all it stands for. This is an easy thing that you could pull up on your phone and the information would be right there. And it has upcoming events, important information. It always has our memory verse on there, all of our email addresses, and the attendance email. So it has a lot of information on that WAG. So you can easily access it through there. So let me go back one. Okay, Kindergarten Hub. So each week we will post it there, but we will also be emailing it out on Fridays for the meantime. And I would say probably through at least September till everyone gets their login. Right now they're working on getting everyone into Teams with an email address and a password. Most email addresses are just their first name dot last name at cvcsonline.org. Just like my email is, my first name dot last name. So most likely that will be your student's email address, and then we will give you their passwords as soon as we get those. And then you'll be able to log in and see all of this yourself. Then we have elementary campus news. Anything that comes from Mrs. Krager or it pertains to the whole campus, we will put a copy in here as well. So right now I put just the email that came from Ms. Krager about the parking lot pickup, just the clarifications after that first day. So we will post those things in here. Number 3, which likes to hide here, this is our class resources. So things we might put in here are the memory verse, our monthly memory verse. And we use the same one for August and September just because we're just getting started in August. So you'll see that posted here each month. And then also things like the sight words that Ms. Teff showed you. She has a copy in the reading folder, but you would also have a copy here. So any just great resources that pertain to the entire kindergarten, things that they would all use, we would put here. Grade level highlights. As we start using this more and more, we've talked as a team as having maybe 3 different folders and posting things like class pictures and different little things from just little highlights. This is just more of like a community place that we wanted to post things so that we could share what was happening in our classroom, since especially right now that you're not able to be in the classroom with us. So that's where you would see that. And then number 5, if any of you have older students, you would be familiar maybe with iExcel or Spelling City, any links that kindergarten might use. You would be able to go in here and there would be a page that comes up and it's going to have all of our links right there. So eventually we'll start, in the next few weeks, we'll start, at least in math, I know we'll start using iExcel, and they will get their own login and password. And we'll use it sometimes in class on our tablets, but this is something that if they want to do some extra things at home, that you can log in and you can work in it too. They also have things that Ms. Teft will be using for reading. So it has lots of great resources. So any links that we use in class, you will see here. And then we will also, most likely you'll see their username and password right in their communication folder. We'll just put a sticker in there so it'll be right there for you. And then Tandem Calendar, this is an all school-wide calendar. So if you have older kids in the secondary, in middle school grades, anything, any grade, you're gonna see all the events on here. So if they have a volleyball game, you can look on here. If you have kindergarten parent orientation, it would be on there as well. So there will be a link on here for the Tandem Calendar in the very near future. So that's a brief overview of the Kindergarten Hub. So now I'm going to go back and just talk a little bit more about content teams. So if your student was to be out and you decided that remote assignments were the best for you, online assignments, then this is where we would post them. So I'm just going to go into my team. We used this last year. These are the teams we used and how we communicated assignments when we had to go remote in the spring. So basically you would go in here and you're going to go up to the assignment tab, and any assignments that we have assigned to your student would be listed here. So if one student is out as absent, they're going to be the only one that can see that assignment. So we can assign them specifically to the students that have to be gone. So unless we go full remote, which we are not hoping for, you would only have to come to this location if your student had to be gone for an extended period of time. So I think Mrs. Boyette and Ms. Teft, is that? Oh, I wanted to share one more thing. I did this last time too. If you need to, did we talk about birthday invitations, Mrs. Boyette? Okay, so if you need to access the school directory, this is where you would go. You go to coalvalleychristian.org and you'll see, I'm gonna X this out because you wouldn't see that. You would see these 3 lines and you just click on this and then you go to the family portal. And this is where you can log in. And if you're not sure of your login here, feel free to contact us and we can help you work through that. You will log in right here and this would take you to the school directory. So you can get other classmates, their parents' email or phone numbers if you need to contact them, or send party invitations. That's usually the biggest reason kindergarten families decide to use it. Okay, so do we have any questions regarding, I'm going to stop sharing because I can't see this chat when I'm sharing, but if anyone has any questions regarding Teams, feel free to throw those up. Okay, well, I think that covers just about everything. Mrs. Boyette, Ms. Teft, any other things we want to add to the end of this? No? Okay. Well, I'm going to go ahead and pray and we'll leave the chat open for just a few minutes. And so if you guys want to add anything, feel free to ask your questions over there. And if you think of something later, which is kind of how I process things, I know with my own kids, I have questions later after I close out the meeting, just email your homeroom teacher and they'll get back to you as soon as they can. So let's pray. Lord, I thank you so much for this school year, even in the midst of all the changes and COVID obstacles. Lord, I'm so thankful that we were able to meet in our classrooms and see each other's faces. And God, I pray that you will just equip us for whatever comes. Lord, that you will give us a peace that passes all understanding. Lord, I pray that joy and peace will reign in the families, the homes of our families, and in our classrooms, God. I just pray that you will go before us. Lord, we just thank you for each of these families and the teachers. And God, I just pray that this will be a great year. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, families. Well, we look forward to seeing your kids bright and early. Hopefully they get a great night's rest and come ready to learn. So we'll see you later.
Bye.